Hi, friends, and welcome back to SNEP Speaks. This is another episode in continuation with the earlier episode that we had on residential living. We'll be talking that discussion further. We'll be taking that discussion further. And we have again today Jitendra, founder of SNEP, with us to answer
Hi,
all our
Shilpa.
questions. Hi. So you explained what is residential living and the importance of residential living in the last episode. Now there are many people who are living abroad, and these NRIs sometimes they would like to come back to India for different reasons and would like to explore the residential facility. So, what are your views on that?
See, there are lot many non-resident Indians who are, finding it difficult, not from the point of angle of residential living option abroad, but especially from the family support. Even if they are abroad, after their lifetime, the child don't have any, members from the family to support. See, residential living option they might find abroad, but it's the emotional aspect, the touch and feel aspect, the aspect of from the point of child when he's connected to family members, so that aspect is not being addressed. And that's why lot many families are trying to come back to India,
Mhm.
but when they are trying to come back to India, obviously they are exploring the residential living option, the what options are available. Now, to my view, because residential living in India, the options available, I think the development has been only in last 6, 7 years. Okay. So for NRIs, you might not find, you know, what we look at from the aspect of what is there abroad. You might not find meeting those kind of quality or standards because it's a new development which is happening. But I think when we see that lot many residential living are being happening from the community living, right,
Mhm.
where the parents, other parents are also going to be there, living along with the childrens, and they are supporting the each other. I think that bonding NRIs would find in the residential living option in India. And with more and more opening up as we progress, as we see a lot of development happening in this space, I think lot many other options will open up. So for NRIs, I think primary factor for them coming back and settling in India is the family support.
Mhm.
Okay. So because that support is not available, and when they are thinking of that the child is going to live beyond their lifetime, so they are looking that at least some family support is available to them. There is someone from the family who can come and meet the child, for the child comfortability to address his personal, aspect.
Mhm.
So for NRIs, that is one important aspect, and that's why they would like to, have a residential living option which is near to their family members. So like we had one, from New Zealand, and he's from Gujarat. So trying to find a residential living option there. Okay, so that are near about family members. And yes, the expectation from the point of NRIs might be different.
Mhm.
Okay, from what a resident Indian would have, because a resident Indian would have been living in India and seeing the development. And for NRIs, they would have seen the development abroad. Okay,
Mhm.
so the expectation might be different. So for me, that expectation might not match to 100%, but I
Okay.
think that's okay because we are still, developing, and we are still this aspect or residential living options is still in a development stage in India. And I think going forward, they will do find an option which can meet their standards.
So it will evolve. Actually, it's new.
Yes, it will evolve.
Will
It will
evolve.
evolve as we move forward. Okay. And especially when this long-term sustainability is answered, so
Mhm.
I think they will find a comfortable residential living.
Yes. So, from NRI's perspective, the family support and the bonding for them themselves also probably may be required in their own old age. And also, they are having such facilities in India can be a good proposition for them. But
In fact, from this point, I, happen to have a discussion with one family. So they are looking from both the angles. They are looking for the child also, and they're looking at senior living for themselves also.
hmm,
Okay. So now we know very well that how the senior care living is being developed in India. Okay.
yes.
And lot many good options we are seeing there. So I think the way we are looking forward is that might be, child might be staying in a residential living option for special need child. Parents might be staying in the residential in a senior care living near about where the child is going to stay.
So what I feel here is ultimately the quality of life parents as well as the special need child is going to live till the time they are there.
Yes.
But a lot of planning gets into it. So last time you told us like child adaptability and very importantly the finances. So what kind of planning and at what stage parents should start thinking about this planning towards the
Mm.
residential living and maybe the senior care for themselves, or that is optional. But what kind of start point should be there and when should it start?
See, lot many parents are at old age. Okay. So for them, it's the primary important factor. They find it today. Okay. Because they are already 60, 70, reaching 70 years of age, and they would like to find an option now. But for parents probably who are young, okay, the child is still maybe 5, 6 years of age, this factor won't come into the picture, residential living option.
Yes.
So I think residential living, once the child reaches to an adult situation, okay, maybe reaches to an 18, 19 years of age, that's the age probably parents should start thinking about this.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not saying they find an option. They should start thinking about this, that where will the child live? Now, which means that they should start preparing on the angle that if the child is going to live in the same house as where they are living, so where the support services would come from. Okay, do India have these support services available? In other countries, we see these support services are available. Okay, the
Hmm.
child can stay in the same house for the complete lifetime. Yes, there are support from the government also. That's one other factor. Considering India don't have a government support there, so the parent have to start thinking, and I would say the right age would be once the child reaches to an adult age, 16, 17, 18. I think that's the age probably parents should start planning.
Yeah, because to build a corpus which will be required for the child for the lifetime, it takes time. And the more time parents have in hand, a better corpus they will be able to generate and better facility than they can give to the
Yes.
child, isn't it? Now, that is where another question comes up because once the child gets into any residential facility, that person is going to stay there for his lifetime, which can be anywhere between
Yes.
40 years, also 50 years, also. Now, do you think these residential facilities have a sustainable model to be there for the next 40, 50 years?
uh, I would say not at present because one, they are very new. Okay. There is no residential living care which has been there for 30, 40 years. Okay. At the most, the oldest one I would find 7, 8 years old. Okay. But otherwise, most of them would be say around 2, 3 years old. Okay.
Hmm.
And lot many are coming up now. So I don't see sustainability answered perfectly in
Hmm.
any of the institution. Okay.
Okay.
And I think from a residential living, they would have to answer this at certain point of time because they are dependent on the funding from the parents. Now, if the funding is going to stop from the parents, so what's going to happen? They won't be in a situation to, move a child out of the residential living. Then who's going to take care of the child? So I think long-term sustainability has not been answered yet, but as we see that progress has been made where they have started thinking on those lines. Okay,
Hmm.
that because they are dependent on the parents and the parents have to do their financial planning. So if the parents had enough money available, might not be a problem for residential living. But if parents don't have funding available, then will be a problem for the residential living. Okay. So I think they would have to answer this at certain point of time.
Yes, so what I can see here is sustainability is interrelated between the institution and the parents, because parents are
Yes.
finally funding the child. So till the time the funds are there, the child can be taken care by the institution. And similarly, the setup of the institution, the caretakers of the institution, even they should have a proper model so that parents feel confident that my child will be taken care by this institution. Um, if
Yes.
sustainability has to be seen on either side of this, what work SNEP is doing or what services SNEP is providing to ensure that parents feel secure with the institution for the long term, and institution also can actually prove that they have a better sustainable model.
Yes, that's very important, and we as an organization, we thought of it very deeply. That what we can do. So with parents, yes, SNEP working in setting up their legal aspects, so that the right kind of legal framework is available and connecting to the right financial advisor, so that they can complete their financial planning. On institution side, so we conceptualize a model wherein we said to the institution, okay, we are going to set up this framework where you are going to analyze the amount of money available from the parents. Okay. And you are going to see that whether the parents who are leaving their child with you, do they have enough of resources available? And before onboarding, you are going to ensure that parents financial planning is being done, and you have enough awareness, enough knowledge that where the money is going to come from and whether the parents have enough money available or not. And this is not going to be a one-time exercise. We are going to review this situation periodically.
Hmm.
Once in a year, once in a 3 years, we are going to review the finances and ensure that the parent had set up the legal aspects. So what we propose in this model is that right from the beginning, where you are setting up your residential living, we are going to work with you and set up a framework where there are going to be uh, checks and balances right from initial when you are onboarding a parent. There are going to be a framework where you are going to provide the finances which you need from the parents, and tell the parents that okay, this is the money which we need, so now you tell us whether the money is available with you or not. If not, then how you going to fund this. Once that happens, then you are going to ensure that the parents provide you the right kind of documents, which ensures that the money is going to come to you even after the parents' lifetime.
Hmm.
And you keep on reviewing this situation periodically. So we conceptualize a model for the institution that setting up a right legal framework. Okay, whether parents form a private trust or it dependent on an individual, you have right kind of documentation which ensures that the money is going to be constantly available for the child care.
Hmm.
Okay, once this can be ensured, okay, then the sustainability from one child can be ensured. So if sustainability of one child can be repeated to, say, if they are going to 50 children, then which means sustainability from these 15 children of the finances which institution need would be available. And that's where the sustainability can be answered. So that's where we have been working with residential living, and we have already done a lot of discussions with quite a few residential living options. And I think our model is being appraised for what we are bringing on the table to the residential living institution which have been set up.
So that is very important, because when we talk about sustainability, the most fundamental are the standard operating procedures. And I think
Yes.
that is where SNAP is actually contributing by providing it to the institutions and as well as working with the parents so that they also get a clear idea about how much money will be required and how the sustainability uh, will be going forward. So that's very insightful, and I am sure viewers, you have got a lot of information about residential living. And if you think that that can be probably a future option for your child, you should start planning as early as possible. And do get in touch with SNEP in case you have any doubts or any clarity or more information is required. If you are setting up residential facility, then SNEP is there to also guide you more on that. Thank you, Jitendra, for the
Thank you,
valuable
Shilpa.
insights. Okay. And thanks, viewers. We'll come back with another interesting topic soon. Thank you.
Thank you. See you in the next episode.